I'm hoping the wind doesn't come up. That would spoil my plans. As you know, I don't have at the moment any live information on the boat, no internet and no satellite. The weather is not due to come up, it's due to drop, in fact, tomorrow. So with that in mind, I'm hoping it's going to be okay. And tonight on board, ladies and gentlemen, we're having sausage casserole made with tinned sausages, tinned potatoes, tinned mushrooms, and lots of love. I'm out of my bed early this morning. It's quite wobbly, so I'll hold the camera steady as I can. 2 computers up. This one you can see clearly. Here I am up at the top. Here's the reef. North Minerva Reef. The entrance is there. It's about 3.5 miles to the reef entrance. 5 miles to the reef entrance and 3.5 miles to the reef. So I'm up because I daren't sleep any longer. We're so close. The sun is still coming up behind us. It's all been timed perfectly so far anyway. But I'm still waiting for the sun. Timed perfectly because we need the sun to see it. It is actually there. It's about 3.5 to 5 miles away. The whole thing is about 5 miles across, but you can't see it. And in it are 12 boats that are anchored. You can't see them either. They're actually not showing up on AIS, which is a bit worrying. So I hope I'm in the right place. So I'm kind of half sailing, half stopped at the moment, and just waiting for the sun. You can see there's actually a lot of swell here. Yes. And then it was there, just visible on the horizon. After 250 miles in the middle of nowhere, there's Minerva Reef. Always very unnerving coming up to a reef. They don't go together, boats and reefs. Boats belong in the sea and the reef should be over there somewhere. But we're actually bringing it all together. The boat's actually not only going to the reef, we're going to go through it and into it. There's an entrance that's very narrow, quite hard to find. We're going to be using the satellite navigation stuff for that, which I'll do in a second. And as we get close now, I can hear the roar of it. It's quite unnerving. And every time I do this, I'm like, "Ugh." But this is actually the best weather. It's almost blowing off the reef from the angle I'm coming at. So it's not going to blow me on there. I'm still under sail at the moment. I'm going to drop that and start the engine. And then go through the reef. I've got to find the entrance first. Yes, this is good weather. This is perfect weather for doing it. It's almost flat. There's been a lot of swell out there, but we're coming behind the weather now, behind the reef. So yeah, I better concentrate really, hadn't I? Stop making movies and get back to doing what I should do. Yes, oops. You should be able to see the boats just in the distance there, anchored on the other side of the reef. And if I've got it right, this should be the entrance just here. I've even got the glasses on today so I can actually see what I'm doing. It's that important. Yes, I need to know where I'm going. There's reef on both sides of me, on the starboard there and on the port over here. The sun is going to be in my eyes when I turn, so I'm trying to get into position, going sideways along the reef to keep the sun out of my eyes. Going to drop the revs back a little bit. I do have a waypoint one of the other guys on a boat called Nomad gave me, so I'm going to make my way to that. I put it on the chart here, and then I hopefully will know that I'm okay, because the sun's going to be in my eyes now. Already I can't see half of the pass. You can just see the end of that part of the reef there. The entrance is somewhere in the sun there, stretching right through to this bit over here. I'm going to make a turn in a second. I'm looking for a waypoint that's somewhere over there. That's the starboard side. You can see there's a reef extending quite a way into the water, so I've got to be very, very careful here. Don't know if you can see that behind me. That's how close we are. It's actually not that bad. It's I don't know, 70 meters wide, something like that, but there are shallow parts that are closer to than that. There's a big shallow area just to my right. It's all beautiful and turquoise, but it looks too shallow for me over there. I'm going down the other end, so I've got a mile or so to go inside the reef. I think I'm pretty much officially inside the Minerva Reef right now, because the weather's coming this way, so the guys are all anchored up there. I counted, I think 14 boats are here. Where we just come from in Tonga a couple of weeks ago, a whole bunch of boats left, and we knew that the weather was bad down here, not like it is now, and the wind was in the wrong direction for getting to New Zealand. And a whole bunch left, and apparently there were between 40 and 50 boats anchored in here, sheltering and waiting for good weather to continue. We've got some bad weather in New Zealand. There's forecast on the north part of New Zealand, big old storm brewing, so that's why we're all here, but we're the last of the season's boats. In fact, I might even be the last to have left Tonga, escaping what is the cyclone season, which is coming down this way very soon. We're nearly into cyclone season at the moment, so that's the reason for all this. Plus I want to go to New Zealand and get some decent food and some stuff to repair the boat. That's why I'm really going there. Plus I want to see New Zealand, it's beautiful. Concentrate, Barry. Right, Will. You can see the gap there, that's one side of it, and that's the other, so it's not too bad. You wouldn't want to do it at night really, but you could, I guess. But yeah, we're through, that's the main thing. And there you can see all the boats at anchor at the far side of the atoll. Because it's a long way and got some time, I'm going to make some breakfast. Got some dough out of the fridge, going to make some bread. See, here on board White Shadow we're doing firsts. I can navigate through a reef and make bread at the same time. Did that get in the Guinness Book of Records? I don't know. Anyway, I'm hungry. Yep, navigating through reefs and making bread at the same time. That's how we roll here on the Shadmaster. And the anchor's down, Captain. Oh yes. Just checking the anchor chain, all seems good. I got the snubber on, a short one, because I don't envisage too much. I hope that the weather's coming down. It did say it was going to come down, but anyway, it's nice to be at anchor. It's great to be at anchor. No anchor beers. It's only it's not even 10 o'clock. In fact, they've got a cruiser's net on at 10 o'clock with a weather forecast, so I need to listen to that. The reason that we're here is all of us waiting for good weather to before we continue on to New Zealand. I can't even talk properly. I need to cool off and get a drink of water. Gonna pack everything away in a minute to listen to this cruiser's net thing, cool off, have some breakfast. It's breakfast time, and then I'm going to clean up the boat, put the sail away. Don't know how long we're going to be here for. As I said, we're all waiting for the weather, and then we'll see. Whoops, I need to listen to this.
10 minutes.
Oh, he just said it was going to be in 10 minutes time. Okay, yeah, there's one of the guys who's going to do some weather, so I need to listen to that. Oh, that's enough. It's enough for one day, isn't it? Yeah. I'm going to have some my time now. Just having a stroll around the deck in the evening. It's sundowner time, and I just got to be careful I don't stand. Look at this.
That's an accident waiting to happen, so it is.
Close that while I'm having a little blog on the deck. A blog on the deck. Now it's blog on the deck time. Just checking a few things on deck before it gets dark. A nice day at the end of the first part, it is, of this passage. Yeah, as you know, going to New Zealand. Oh, I'll do more about that a little later on. It's just like such an amazing thing to be doing. It's like it's something I've been wanting to do all my life. We're all here as a group. There's a whole bunch of boats. I think there's 14 or 15 boats here. We're all kind of out in the middle of the wilderness. It's hard to describe.
Minerva Reef, another of those places that's just in the middle of nowhere. There are actually two reefs. This is the northern one, and it's a complete circle, apart from a little small entrance just big enough to take a yacht. Mariners have visited this place many times over the last 100 years, and indeed some have even been shipwrecked here. Although the reefs are hundreds of miles from the nearest land, they are under dispute, an ownership argument between Tonga and Fiji. These aerial photographs of the Minerva Reef taken by the sailing boat tourists show its magnificence and its grandeur. In this one you can see all the sailing boats actually anchored inside the reef. Technically, while being circular, Minerva Reef is an atoll. In this one we can see the entrance of the atoll. You have to bear in mind that this place is in the middle of nowhere. The day before I arrived, all the other cruisers decided to have a party, a reef party. They stood ankle deep in water and had a cold one. Unfortunately, because me and the Shadmeister were slow, we missed the party.
That's been a bad boy. I had to be rescued. The Yamaha stopped working on me today. Yeah, it was embarrassing. I went over to see a friend and the engine stopped, the outboard engine, and I drifted right back and I managed to call somebody. I did have a handheld radio with me, but I managed to get the notice of somebody on another boat, a nice Swedish lady that came out and saved me. So pulled me back in. I was drifting down there. Yeah, I don't know why it stopped working on me. So I'll have to have a look at that tomorrow. It's another job. Things to do. Right, curry's on the stove. Better get down there and check it. So what's for dinner tonight, chef? Well, rice and some chicken curry. Chicken out of a tin, but nevertheless. I've been looking forward to this all week. Well, it's beautiful out here. I'm trying to get to the reef. There's only 1 or 2 nice days left out here, according to the weather forecast. I want to get on the reef, walk on Minerva Reef. That's my plan. This engine now broken down twice trying to get there. Luckily, I've got an anchor with me, and once again, I've been foiled. Everybody else is up there having some fun, and I'm trying to get up there. And I'm at my wit's end with these engines now. This is just too much. This has not let me down since I had it running back in Tonga. Now it's decided it wants to not work properly. And this is a dangerous place to break down. I'm in the middle of a reef here. Luckily the tide's coming up and I'm upwind, so I can drift back to Shaddy. I do have a radio and I do have an oar with me. But nevertheless, this is not ideal. Pretty sure it's fuel, and I think it's this doohickey here. It's not letting the fuel get through to the engine. It's about 20 minutes later, half an hour later, something like that. I can't get the engine started again. I've given up with it. I've got the radio with me, always thinking of safety, so I've called my friend, he's directly downwind of me. He must be having his breakfast, he won't come out and rescue me. The plan is actually I'm going to pull my anchor up. I've got the anchor down on the reef here, and I'm going to drift back to him, to his boat, maybe have a cup of coffee. This is so I don't get to film the reef today because the tide's coming up and the reef disappears. And I money's on that it's going to be rough tomorrow, and I won't be able to do it. And I've come all this way just to do this, so this is a pain. Shadi is way, way, way over there. But I got a friend and he's just over there. It's still quite a long way, but we're drifting towards him really slowly. Hopefully he's got the kettle on. He's English, might be a cup of tea instead of coffee.
After a while, I eventually managed to get to my friend's boat, and indeed he did give me a cup of tea. Later on during the afternoon, he upped anchor and came past me. Thought I'd show you his boat because I nearly bought one. This is a Moody. They're built in Plymouth, where I'm from. A very, very strong, old-fashioned but excellent cruising boat. With constant wind here and an ongoing problem with wind noise on the microphones, thought I'd take some time out and experiment, see if I could improve the situation.
Okay, gonna do a test with the microphone. That's with the sponge only. Yeah, that's the dead cat. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, baby? Can you hear me now? That's without the dead quick kitten on there.
Basically, there was nothing I could do. Everything I tried just didn't seem to make any difference. It was windy and that was it, so apologies for the noise. Gonna have to invest in some new sound gear when I get to New Zealand, but that's still to come. Meanwhile, it's a windy day.
I wasn't worried, but now everybody else is moving. So I'm thinking I'm the only one that's going to be here, and maybe they know something I don't. Or just maybe I do actually know more than they do, and they've got it wrong and I haven't. I don't think that's the case at all, but you know. But I was busy going about my things today, and now everybody's moving and I'm worried. There's a big old blow coming. Damn. Meantime, apart from reef watching and doing my laundry, there's other stuff to be done. A cockpit on a boat like mine is like a bathtub. It can fill with water, a lot of water. If a big wave or waves comes over the top, which it can do, and into the cockpit, where does it go? Down here. That's called a scupper. That takes water from the cockpit to the outside of the boat. There's two of them, one on that side and one on this side, and the scuppers on this boat are too small. They're way, way too small to do a proper job, and that one's blocked, and that's a problem. I can actually get to the blockage down there, and that's another problem. I have to unload all of this to get in there.
This was not really a job to be done while at sea, but I was worried if I took a big wave into the cockpit, there was nowhere for the water to go.
I got a pipe cleaner here, but it's not very good. I've tried that, and I've tried some thick hose down there, and that doesn't work either. That's the scupper on the port side. The one that's giving trouble and is completely blocked is on that side. It comes through the boat down here. So I've got to move all that stuff out, including that gas cylinder, and open that up. Trying to show you what I've been doing in here, but you can't even get the camera in. That's the main tiller going down there. I'm going to try and lower the camera down so you can see. It's deep down in the bowels of the boat. Down there, if I can find it. Oh yeah, there you go. That's looking straight down. There are a couple of holes that go out to the sea, and they vent this compartment. The gas and anything down here will go out there. But down in those holes to the side of them are other holes that lead up to the cockpit, and you cannot get to them. Bad design, very bad design. Because they're down there and you've got seawater on them all the time, they've got shellfish, animals, crabs, all kinds of stuff living in there. I'm getting tired. Time to put this stuff away and have another think.
Thanks for watching. Next time on Adventures of an Old Seadog.
When that tide comes through over the rim of those rocks over there, it's going to come sweeping through here quite quickly. You can see the boats up there. That's at the far side of the inside of the atoll. That makes sense. And there you can see the boat, and there you can see the end of the atoll and the boats all at anchor. Oh, it's nice to get onto an anchor after a passage. I'm kind of tired, a bit sweat, well, lots of sweaties and hots. What is that, sweaties and hots? I'm going to start that again.